Well, welcome everybody. I really love doing this presentation. A lot of times we focus on what we should be eating so that we stay healthy as we age, but exercise is just so important to also be doing to keep our bodies and our mind as sharp as they're going to be and as healthy as they're going to be as we age. And so this presentation will be a combination of tips and ideas for if you are an just active living like I am, or some intense workshops or workouts, or if you are doing a little bit more in terms of that weekend warrior or you're an elite athlete, there's a little bit for everybody.
And your name and who introduced you to Neo Life Shell.
Absolutely. Go on to the next slide, and then I can share that I am Shelley Sheridan, and I was introduced to Nada St. Germain, and I am a teacher. I've retired. Well, I'm going to say I've shifted. I'm shifted from being an educator within the school system to educating about nutrition and health here tonight and in other ways. So I was a coach for volleyball and curling, and also played university volleyball myself. And I am constantly doing something each day throughout the week just to stay active. The picture on the left is doing the 200 plus Ride to Conquer Cancer. And I did a mud run a few years back, which was a fun experience, and climbing over 25 different obstacles while I ran 5 kilometers. And then Nada and I, at one of the Impact Summits, decided to go fat tire biking through Arizona at 4 o'clock in the morning because you had to beat the heat. But always trying to figure out ideas to stay active. And why is that? Well, because there's benefits of exercising. Improves your mental health and mood, reduces your risk of heart disease, helps manage weight, strengthens bones and muscles, helps your body manage blood sugar and insulin levels. It improves your ability to do everyday activities because you keep moving your body. And that's the thing that you need to do, is just keep moving. And it certainly can help you sleep better, which is a focus for so many people these days, trying to get better sleep. Some of the effects of exercise is inflammation occurs for all active people. And the more that you're exercising, the more inflammation that you're going to be having. And we're going to share about balancing that and keeping that under control. Free radical production and damage much greater than with non-athletes. Protein is lost as a result of exercise, so we do need to replace that. Creates tremendous short-term damage at the cellular level, so we need to repair those cells. Continuous exercise overtraining compromises the immune system, so we have to boost that. Stresses joints and tendons, and that's my story that I'll share a little bit later. And increases the need for specific nutrients because our body will burn or use up the nutrients as we keep exercising. So let's look at a few tips. We have tip number one. It's a beautiful morning, and so we want to have a healthy breakfast. You definitely don't want to skip that. Your body wants to wake up and get some protein into it, and also our mind is protein and fat, so it needs that to wake up in the morning. Tip number two is to stay hydrated. Water is so important. It helps carry nutrients and oxygen to your cells. It moistens oxygen for breathing. It helps convert food to energy. It protects and cushions your vital organs, helps your body absorb the nutrients, makes up 75% of our muscles, and we're going to be using those every time that we exercise. Cushions our joints, composes 22% of your bones, removes waste, makes up 83% of your blood, regulates your body temperature, and composes 75% of your brain. So we need to make sure that we are drinking at least 4 cups a day, and some people up to 8, and some people up to 12. The big thing is, are you going to the bathroom at least 5 times a day? The third thing is to boost your immune system. The more color on your plate, the better. 9 to 13 servings is what they talk about. And Beth Duria, the head trainer of the women's cycling, says she encourages all of the riders to incorporate whole grain carbs, lean proteins, and colorful fruits and veggies into their snacks and meals every day. So the coaches will say that, nutritionists will say that. Very important to have a variety of vegetables. Really hard to get, so we'll talk about that later. Choose iron-rich foods. According to experts, it's quite common for athletes, especially women, to be deficient in iron. I know that was a big thing for me. I would go to give blood and they'd say, not this month, your iron is down. So you have to keep boosting it. This could slow you down and increase the risk of injury in any sport. So here are some iron-packed foods to include your red meat, eggs, lentils, shellfish, and spinach. And we all know you are what you eat. So what you put in your body is how it's going to function. The better the food, the better it's going to function. If your choices aren't as good, it's going to be sluggish. So looking at number 5, which is eat healthy meals and snacks, different people will cook and eat different ways. So if you are somebody who loves to be in the kitchen and likes that variety and wants to create all kinds of dishes, good for you. And make sure that there's a balance of half your plate is veggies and a quarter is protein and a quarter is your carbs. If you're like me and you like to do prepping on one of the days so that it lasts throughout the week and it's easy to grab as you head out to do your daily activities or you're heading to work, then you can see on the right, well, it's how it's easy just to cook a whole bunch of things up in one day, put them into containers and stack them in your fridge. And I know that when I'm chatting with different people, as with you, Nada, there's a lot of people who will say, but I eat right. So why do I need to have supplements and why do I have to fill that gap? What do you think?
Well, Shelley, that was me 33 years ago because I watched my mom, just her health decline. And I was in my 20s and she was in her 40s, and we did eat healthy. And I didn't understand, why we had some of these health challenges, especially when it came to fatigue and hormones, and my mom with the inflammation in her body. I really thought I was eating healthy. But this was a study that was done recently, and with over 21,000 people, and not even one got the 10 specific essential nutrients that researchers were looking for in the regular diet. But again, when I was introduced to Neolife, I was really skeptical, but I knew we had to try something. And when I took a closer look, I realized that I couldn't get everything from my food even 33 years ago. So you can even imagine now. So even recently, there was 2 independent studies that they showed depletion in food uh, over the 50 years. Like, for example, iron has dropped 21%, vitamin A 38%, and vitamin C 60%. And even oranges, look how many oranges you'd have to eat today compared to 1980, right? Because of soil depletion, crops grown decades ago were much richer in vitamins and minerals than the varieties that most of us get today. And when I look back, I really thought, because of my job, some of I was working as a police officer, I was under a lot of stress. I was eating healthy, I was exercising, but I didn't understand, what had been done to our food and that there were so many nutritional deficiencies. And that is one of the reasons why I said yes to trying, something like Neolife, and filling the gaps. Because even now, like, look at how many apples you'd have to eat today compared to 1950 to get, a little bit of iron in our diet. And I was tired all the time. I woke up tired. I went to bed tired. And now I look back and I think, wow, this is one of the reasons why I wasn't getting the nutrients in my food. So when I was looking at supplements and watching my mom, I mean, she tried supplements and had no results. So I really had never tried supplements before, and I didn't believe it because of that, watching my mom. And this was a study that was done in between 2007 and 2016, where they looked at 776 products, and they contained hidden active ingredients that were unsafe or unstudied. So you really just you don't know who to trust. And when I looked at Neolife, that was recommended by a neighbor and a dear friend, I really trusted her. And all she said to me is, "This company is different." She goes, "Nada, do you want to just try these vitamins with me?" And I right away thought, well, I'd like to know more, and I want my family to hear about it. And this is what I found, that Neolife is definitely a name that we could trust. A scientific company that's been around since 1958, a pharmaceutical license for manufacturing, established in over 50 countries around the world, industry pioneer in nutrition. This was something that I was in awe of, and the most respected scientific research team And these scientists, these are the drivers behind our excellence. I mean, they work with the company, they do all the research. They don't just endorse the product. A lot of companies that are out there will have a scientific advisory board, but they don't work with the company. They just let them use their name. Whereas our team of scientists, they work together in developing and manufacturing our products. We're very grateful. And many of us have met many of these guys, and five of them were at our summit a few weeks ago. So we're so blessed to be able to communicate and have conversations with them. And the publications, world's most prestigious peer-reviewed scientific journals. And this is really important because it's third-party credibility. Companies can have their own studies and publish their own findings, but it's really important that there's third-party studies, and Neolife does have that. And that was something that I looked at seriously. And Dr. Arthur First, I mean, he was the founding member of our scientific advisory board. You know, he was credited with being the founder of oral chemotherapy. He led the Neolife Scientific Advisory Board for 25 years, but he shifted his focus to prevention because he knew that food and nutrition played such a key role in strengthening the immune system and fighting disease and ending the trend of these chronic diseases. But he knew that we weren't getting the nutrients from our food. And he was looking for a company that was making supplements only from food. And that's when he dedicated the rest of his life to Neolife. And when you look at Dr. First, he was very one thing that was very important to him was gathering the best scientists. And Dr. Liz Applegate, when she joined the Neolife team, I mean, she researched our company to death before she said yes. And she's one of the scientists that when she joined Neolife, we were so grateful because she was a nationally renowned expert on nutrition and fitness, is a faculty member in the nutrition department and the director of sports nutrition at UC Davies. This was huge. And when I spoke with her, I mean, she was training over her career, over 800 athletes designing nutritional programs. And she had a lot of bestsellers as well. So it's really, really nice to be able to chat with her and talk with her. And she was very skeptical before she said yes to joining the team. And even Todd Miller, he's a recent addition to our scientific advisory board, and he's an expert in exercise and sports scientist. And I so appreciated him because, I'm going to be 60 in a couple of years. And, my mom was always telling me, oh, you're lifting too many weights. You can't be lifting that much weight. And I don't lift a lot of weight, but in her eyes. And when I talked to Todd Miller, he goes, this is the first time I'm going to tell you not to listen to your mom. But he really, really stressed that we need to lift weights as we age, but the recovery is really important, and that's what we're going to be focusing on this evening. And our newest addition, we just met Dr. Abby Smith Ryan at Summit again just a few weeks ago. She is an absolute rock star in exercise, physiology, and nutrition science. And again, we're beyond thrilled to have her on the team. So these are the kinds of minds that help us, that support us, that guide us, and just give us that right direction, especially when you're looking at integrity and science to support these amazing whole food supplements. So, Shelley, what can supplements do? How does this play into our fitness and into our lives?
Yeah, Nada, it really plays a big part because it's really difficult, as you were saying, to get what we need for our bodies from our food. So we need to use supplements to fill the nutrition gaps. And they also support tissue growth and repair. They reduce the inflammation that I had mentioned before. They support the recovery from training, support the immune system, because what I said before, that exercise will decrease the immune system, maximizes our training efforts, maximizes our natural potential. It just does a whole gamut of things for our exercise, for our body and our minds, which is why they're just so important. But here's a couple of things just so that you know that the supplements cannot do. They cannot replace a poor diet. So remember, you are what you eat. And it does not replace poor training. So you want to make sure that how you're exercising is a proper way so that you can stay exercising and not injuring yourself. And they don't replace genetics because there is a percentage that no matter what you do, there is some of your genes you just came by naturally. So how can nutrition improve recovery? So specific nutrients are critical in the body's ability to recover and improve from the stress of training. And deficiencies in these nutrients can hinder improvement, recovery, and immune capacity. So we want to deal with those deficiencies. So let's look at the Pro Vitality, something that I take every day, and I know you do, Nada, as well. So the Pro Vitality is a daily pack, and there's 30 of those in the pack, which lasts a month. And it's power packed with a potent omega-3, the carotenoid antioxidants, the phytolipids and sterols, which are grain oils that help our cells and absorption, vitamins and minerals for cellular energy and lifelong health. So the Great Grain Robbery, this is huge. And I know when I was teaching and when I first learned about Neolife, this is not in the curriculum. We don't talk about what's been taken out of our food through manufacturing. And what has happened is during milling, all of the fiber, the outer brand layer, and all of the precious oils, the germ and the phytosterols, and the 22 important nutrients, those are all removed uh, during milling because they need things to sit on the shelf longer. Okay, so what's left is the starch, the white flour, and the protein, which is gluten. So in all of the mass production with companies, just think that all the good stuff is being taken out. And here's actually a study from Washington University. When I read this, it just blew my mind because it said a study conducted by Dr. Patrick Boak showed that marathon runners can recover more quickly without the acute inflammation associated with excessive physical stress when given a sterile enriched supplement. So those are those grain oils that we were mentioning. In addition to demonstrating quicker recovery times, the athletes taking the sterile supplement had immune systems that were less compromised post-exercise than those of the athletes not taking the supplement. So really important for recovery. So the tree and N grain oils, it helps your cellular energy and efficiency. And in that container, is equivalent to 35 pounds of whole grain extract. They're gluten-free and they're GMO-free. And how do they work? Well, look on the left. You have your unhealthy cell, and it's not as malleable. It's kind of shriveled up a little bit, hard for the nutrients to get in, and really difficult for the toxins to get out. So what happens is the nutrients get stuck in there and don't get into your body as nutrition, and your body and all of your cells, the 72 billion, just make you feel really sluggish. On the right, when you get those grain oils, the treanin grain oils, look at how the nutrients get in and the toxins and waste gets out because the outside cell membrane is malleable and everything flows the way that it's supposed to. So at Texas A&M University, they did a study and they found that without the treanin, you can see the orange, it is half of what happens when you actually take the treanin. So your nutrients get absorbed 50% more when you take the treanin. So that helps with your healthy cells, it helps with more energy, and very importantly, it helps balance hormones. So second is the carotenoids. So carotenoids are powerful antioxidants that help repair damage from free radicals, and it helps repair the mitochondrial damage from aerobic respiration, and it supports body's mechanisms to maintain strong immune capacity during periods of intense training and stress. So think of your carotenoids as your antioxidants, which help to repair. And with a study that they did, it showed that if you took 3 a day of the carotenoids, it boosts your immune system 37% in 20 days. And almost 90% of North Americans did not meet the vegetable intake requirements. So why do our cells need protection? Well, on the left, you can see where it's not protected, and that's low fruit or low vegetable diet. We get 10,000 hits a day by free radicals on every cell, and that's what damages them and speeds up aging. Look on the right, where we get the high fruit and vegetable diet, and you add in those carotenoid supplements, they're just protected, which is what we want to do, is protect ourselves and boost our immune system so that we can get the best from our exercise. And now that inflammation, the third supplement that's in that pack, this is showing how the inflammation, anti-inflammatories need to protect the outside of the cell. And that's what happens because the inflammation is our number one enemy, of our cells. So on the left, you can see that it's inflamed, and on the right, you can see how those omega-3 through our diet and supplementation are protecting the outside. And when you take 3 of the salmon oil each day, science has shown that it will decrease your inflammatory index by 68% in 8 weeks. And the important thing and the difference, the Neolife difference, is that our salmon oil plus have all 8 of the omega-3s and is guaranteed for purity. We test for over 200 contaminants. So giving all 8, it becomes an amazing antioxidant. It was a gift to me for my joint pain and when I broke my leg that I'll share about later. But what about breakfast? How many of you skip breakfast? How many of you grab a carb like your muffin or your bagel? What do you do, Nada, for breakfast? Because it's just so important for because that was number one tip that we mentioned at the very beginning.
I know. And you know what? I do enjoy my nice homemade latte in the morning with like organic, clean coffee. And I think that's really important if you are going to be drinking coffee. But starting your morning with a good quality protein, I've been drinking Neolife Shake for 33 years because protein is so important. Adults over 19 years of age with little to no exercise need 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram or 0.36 grams per pound of body weight per day. Um, and as you increase the exercise, the protein increases. And I did find that as I was increasing my exercise, especially over the last 2 years, I did increase my protein intake with every meal. And that was something that has made a huge impact. And so when you're looking at per day between 56 to 91 grams per day for the average male and 46 to 75 grams per day for the average female. And again, this isn't all at once. This is like spread out throughout the day. And protein needs for athletes, I mean, the Academy of Nutrition for Dietetics and Dietitians of Canada and the American College of Sports Medicine recommend 1.2 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight or zero point 0.5 to 0.9 grams per pound for athletes. So depending on the training, protein intake should be spaced throughout the day and after workouts. So really, really important. Endurance athletes, they may have the highest needs and quality of protein is so, so important. And the Neolife Shake meets that quality. I mean, it has a glycemic control response. It includes the muscle retaining branched chain amino acids. It promotes that gut brain satiety signaling. So it's very satisfying. It's clinically studied, benefits for weight loss, for cardioprotective, lowers your body mass index. But really important, it gets your blood sugar in that glycemic control zone. And it's very easy to digest. So whether you're looking at it for weight loss or you're looking at it just for recovery and repair, hands down, the quality of this product is so amazing. It does have all 22 amino acids. I haven't found a 22 amino acid protein supplement on the market. And the reason why this is important is they work together like a necklace. It's like they work synergistically, and that's the way our body is used to utilizing these proteins. So it's not just for muscle building, it's also for digestion, for your immune system. So build antibodies. And again, part of that balancing and regulating your hormones and also makes collagen. When you have a complete protein in your diet every single day, your body makes collagen naturally. And that's really important. And there's nothing artificial, no high fructose corn syrup, no preservatives, no gluten, no cholesterol, no saturated fats, no hydrogenated fats. I mean, 90% lactose free, no GMO ingredients, safe for kids. My kids, they were very athletic. They were playing basketball, football when they were younger. This is a product they would take before hitting the field, before hitting the basketball court. And they really noticed a difference when they didn't have it, when they were doing any of their sporting activities. So a fabulous product for that because recovery is key to performance. So stress, exercise, it gives stress and you need to rest and recover for improvement. And athletes who improve or enhance recovery will improve their performance. And athletes that do not fully recover enter their next training or competition at a disadvantage. Okay. So more rapid, complete recovery can help the immune function as well. And that's where the recovery is important. So within 30 minutes of finishing a high intensity or endurance activity, you should consume something made with a mix of protein and carbs. And this will help to reduce muscle soreness and aid in your muscle recovery. And this was by Dan Benardot, a professor of nutrition and kinesiology at Georgia State University. And that's where this performance protein comes in. This is one of my faves. So I do the Neolife shake for breakfast in the morning because that is kind of like my start for the morning. And then when I do go to the gym, I usually do a very intense workout or a hot yoga workout. And after I'm done my workout, within the 30 minutes, I do have the Neolife Sport Protein. So this is fabulous. It also has the branched chain amino acid. It's a complete protein, 26 grams of protein power. It has a leucine for muscle regeneration and retention, and the glutamine and the glutamic acid, which is important for cellular metabolism, neurotransmission, and immune competence. And you hear a lot about athletes, especially when they're in high intense training, they get sick and they end up getting poor immune systems. And this is so important to keep that strong and so they don't get sick. It has leucine as well that helps to synthesize repairing muscles. An article in the Canadian Running Magazine stated that the most recovery shakes are made with whey protein since it has more leucine than chocolate milk. So we don't want to be drinking chocolate milk. A lot of chocolate and those bad oils are in there as well. And it absorbs slowly, and this is not optimal for replenishing muscles quickly. So don't look for chocolate milk for protein. Reach for something like this, which is amazing. Our promise is incredible when it comes to no potentially dangerous stimulants, no artificial anything, no artificial color, flavors, sweeteners, or preservatives, guaranteed to be free of any substance currently banned by the Collegiate Athletic Association, International Olympic Committee, World Anti-Doping Agency. So again, no GMO ingredients that are based in nature, which is pretty important. And then we have one of my faves that has been recently added to the Neolife line last year was our energy drink called Elevate, the nootropic energy drink. And I'd never tried an energy drink before because they kind of scared me in the past, especially when I heard all these bad things about it. But when I heard the science behind this product with the L-theanine, the clean caffeine, magnesium and electrolyte minerals, fabulous for hydration, balances your mood while hydrating, and tastes absolutely fantastic. Others don't even come close to our amazing Elevate product. And I'm so grateful to be sharing this with everybody I meet, especially at the gym and especially during hot yoga. So this is such a great product for hydration. So when you look at the products that we talked about tonight, the Ultimate Daily Trio is our Pro Vitality, which Shelley explained has the grain oils, the vitamins, minerals, and the omega-3 fats for inflammation. Then when you add the protein shake and the Elevate, this is your solution for total wellness, also for weight management if you're looking to shed a few pounds, and peak performance if you're looking at that. So it really is like the core three is kind of a great place to start if you're looking at that. But now, Shelley, another amazing product that I know you really enjoy, and I love it as a pre-workout as well. I add this to my shake in the morning. So, anyways, do you want to share a little bit
You
about
know
this?
what? I love the taste so much. I don't want to add it to my shake. I want to drink it on its own. So I have it as my pre-workout and then the Elevate afterwards as well. So yeah, it's a real earthy flavor and it's great tasting. So 70 milligrams of dietary nitrates per serving, nitric oxide activation blend. That's the words that you want to start listening and learning about because that helps with just getting oxygen to your cells so that you can exercise more. It has beets and kale and Joseph's coat, which is red spinach, and then the nitric oxide fitness blend of moringa leaves, pomegranate peel, and black ginger root. So just yummy. So the dietary nitrates say no to fatigue. 70 milligrams of dietary nitrates enhance greater muscle force during heavy weightlifting. Beetroot enhance the ability of muscles to produce power, and more muscle power equals more repetitions when weightlifting. And I know when I'm working with my trainer, when I get to the end I can still keep going. I just have the strength and can just power right through the program that he wants me to do. And if I happen to miss every one of the days, I notice a difference. I really do. So the upbeat gives me the stamina, the endurance, and the circulation, reduces fatigue and increases stamina, improves fitness, physical performance, supports cardiovascular health, supports healthy inflammatory response, promotes a healthy immune system response, acts as an antioxidant, and supports cognitive function. So very, very powerful things that are going to be helping everything in your body. Not just about the exercise, it's doing even more than that. And Peter, yes, I love hearing his story. So, Nada, introduce, you've met Peter. I've met Peter's mom, but I don't think I've actually met
Yeah,
Peter personally.
Francis. Yeah,
Yes.
Francis and Rose. Rose introduced Francis to Neolife, and they've become a big part of our Neolife family. And I remember when Francis introduced the Upbeat to Peter because he played hockey at the time and still playing hockey. He's in university now. But Peter, I'd love for you to share your experience because I know you just love this product. So fire away.
Yeah, so this is probably my favorite Neolife product, just because of how much it helps me. So yeah, I've played hockey for about 10 years, maybe more. Um, and I started taking Upbeat. Well, what happened was I was always the worst player with in terms of cardio. I was always the most tired. I was always the first one off the ice. I had the worst lungs. So that's not good as a hockey player. You don't want that. So a few years ago, my mom introduced me to Upbeat, and I took it, and right away I noticed a difference the first practice that I took it. I was just doing laps because I had so much extra energy between drills. Yeah, so I remember that, and I used it in games. I never go I never go a game without taking Upbeat. I take it every time because of the difference it made. Um, and what happened recently, just interesting, is that I've last I played hockey in the summer, and I was getting more tired, and I was sort of feeling the way I did before. And then I realized at the summit that you're supposed to take Upbeat half an hour to an hour before, and so I did that when I got back, and right away it was back to how I felt before, which is I started by the end of the game, I felt better than I did at the beginning of the game. So it's quite a good product, and I definitely recommend it to everybody playing hockey, doing whatever. Anything you need cardio for, stamina, lifting weights, I take it for that too. Um, but it makes a big difference, and do make sure you take it half an hour to an hour before, because you will notice it. Yeah.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you so much, Peter. And you're right. I do take it about a half hour to hour before I do my intense workout as well. And I did notice a difference with that. So thank you so much for sharing. It's so great to have you. I know you're off to university soon, and I know you're going to be sharing with some of your hockey buddies when you're there. So Peter has actually joined us in the business recently and is sharing Neil Life and is impacting lives. So thank you again for joining us. Really appreciate you jumping on tonight.
Thank you so much, Nana.
Oops. All right. So now one of my faves. When I was looking at Neolife 33 years ago, some of you know I was working as a police officer and I had developed some arthritis in my knees. And when I was training at the police college, I had to do a 5 mile run and I couldn't do my run when it came to training. So they put me on a bike so I can pass my 5 mile run because my knees were really, really bad. And then I shortly years later, I got on the Neolife supplements, added this amazing glucosamine, and the difference was amazing. It turned that right around. I went back to full activity. And the benefits of the glucosamine, it slows down the breakdown of cartilage. And I didn't know that this was happening to my knees. It does help with repair, regeneration of cartilage, and to reverse that osteoarthritis process. And, it did reduce the pain and other symptoms. And for me, it was my mom. She was waking up in the morning and she had a hard time opening up her fingers and her toes. And when we introduced the salmon oil and the glucosamine together, they wonderful as partners. The difference was amazing. No more trouble with her fingers, her toes, and in my knees. I mean, I do intense workouts and I have no issues. So the mobility, the comfort, the flexibility, so important. And it's natural. I mean, there's a lot of glucosamines out there. I've talked to people, they've tried them, they don't work. This provides 1,500 milligrams of glucosamine, a pharmaceutical, pure, biologically functional product. It really helps to just to get your joints more flexible and mobile. And, you know, this is a wonderful story. My dear friend Debbie Abbott, we were both motorcycle police officers, and she was actually injured. She was hit by a car and her foot was almost severed, and they pinned it back, and they told her she'd have no motion and no mobility in her ankle. And she'd already been using the Neo Life supplements for a couple of years with me, and we had just launched the Full Motion that year. And the company asked me if I knew somebody that would do a trial and a test study for 3 months, where they would supply the products for 3 months. And they wanted somebody that had an injury. They wanted an elderly person. So I picked my mom, and I picked another dear friend of mine, Josie, that also had a lot of joint pain. The results that Debbie had were amazing. She did do physio. Eventually, she was able to do a light jog on that ankle, and they told her that she would never be able to run again. So really, really helped her in the recovery process. And it's definitely was one of her most favorite products. And even my kids, I mean, both my kids played football and basketball. Luke had amazing, he was a quarterback. So throwing that ball really helped his shoulder. And Jack as well, with his brain injury with the omega-3 fish oil, the recovery that he had was incredible. They gave Jack originally a 6-month window recovery, and he was home in 6 weeks. And the surgeon at the hospital, the brain injury clinic, approved our products in the hospital. And I know that that's why Jack recovered so quickly. So they both love the products. And so the salmon and the Full Motion is definitely a big part of their regime as well. I'm just going to let Luke share a little bit about his journey, because he had some pretty awesome injuries where they carried him off the field. They said he was out for the season. And also a snowboarding accident where he landed on his head, and he'll share a little bit about the product as well and how it helped him. I'm going to fast forward it just to him speaking, so you don't have to listen to me. Let me just see here. Hang on.
You brought your basketball tournament, and you just had an awesome breakfast with vanilla Neo Life shake along with your Pro Vitality. Yeah. Do you just want to share a little bit of your experience with the Neo Life products?
So I guess start off with the shakes. I've been drinking those every morning since I don't even know how old. I don't remember when I first started, but it's amazing. It helps me get up every morning, and you really notice that kids are tired at school every single morning, and they never eat breakfast. And that's one big thing, is that my mom always makes me a nice breakfast with my shake. Always keeps me awake for the whole day. And also other products, just like we were saying about my injuries. My concussion, actually, for snowboarding, I fractured my skull, the orbital bone of my skull, and it was pretty bad, because there was a hole going directly from my airways to my eyes. So when I breathed, my eye would pop out. But like I've healed so quickly with the products that my mom gave me that I was shocked, and the doctors were too, actually, that. They didn't have to do any surgery. It just naturally healed up, and everything was fine. And same thing with my ankle injury. That recovery was insanely fast. My coach, they were all just in shock that I was playing the very next game, actually. So yeah, quick recoveries. I love this stuff. It does magic. I'm not joking, guys.
And now he's 24 years old and has decided to venture in the business with us now. So I'm so grateful. He came to Summit, met the scientists, and is starting to share Neo Life, and signed up his first promoter just last week. So he's pretty keen on just helping people and impacting lives. So, and Shelley, I know that Full Motion product is also one of your favorites, because when I met you, man, oh my gosh, you were trying so many different things in the past and nothing worked. You were a hard nut to crack, but eventually you came around.
That's true. I had my knees scoped in my 20s because I was so active with all types of different sports, and I wore orthotics way back then as well, and everything was great until I got into my 40s and my knees started acting up again, and I thought, oh, I just don't want to have surgery again. I went to the specialist and they said, yeah, you really do need surgery on your knees, and by the way, you also have osteoarthritis in your hip. And I said, yeah, I could feel a little bit of discomfort there as well. And the specialist wanted to give me some meds, and I said, you know what, like I'm in my 40s and I'm sure this would be helpful, but is there any other way? And he said, yep, yep, there are some natural things. So I tried some natural things, and 3 months later, there like it really wasn't making a difference. So I tried something else, and I kept trying things for a couple of years, and either they'd start to work and then stop, or they didn't work at all. And then I met Netta at a show, and she told me about her friend Debbie Abbott. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a try with the full motion. And within a month, I didn't have my knee joint, my knee pain anymore. And then I added in the omega-3 salmon oil plus. And within a year, I no longer wore my neoprene braces. So when I did the Ride to Conquer Cancer the first year, I had my braces on. And when I did it the next year, I didn't have them on, and I haven't worn them in 15 years. And then in 2021, I slipped on some ice while I was training our service dog and broke both bones in my lower right leg. And I had to go. I now am put together with a rod and 4 screws, but I thought, oh my goodness. And a friend of mine was saying, who's a physiotherapist, just control the inflammation. And I was able to do that with the omegas, as well as the full motion. And then with the healing process, adding in the protein, adding in the pro vitality was absolutely huge, just how Nada was talking about with her son. And my bones healed in 7 weeks, and I was out of my cast. And this is me on my bike um, when I have rehabbed, and I am now cycling around Manitoulin Island. So I am so grateful for these products. And that funny picture on the beside it with me with my teacup is at like 3 o'clock in the morning with the group of at another retreat that we had, and that actually was King Charles's inauguration. So I had my English tea at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning with everybody. So that's what that picture is.
Well, Shelley, I see your workouts when you post them on Instagram and the weights that you're pulling and tugging. And I know you wouldn't be able to do it without the good nutrition. And just watching you over the years that I've known you, you're aging gracefully and you're getting stronger, which is kind of cool.
Yep,
Right?
absolutely,
Thanks.
absolutely. And I love Winston's story. He just inspires me so much. So take it away, Winston.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks. I'm wearing green like I'm wearing today, and that photo. But I think this was coming into that was one of my half marathon races. I can see well, about 29 years ago, Joan, my wife, got involved with Neolife, and it took me a little while to get to taking the products. But about 3 years after that, I was coaching my daughter's ice hockey team, and I went without any equipment on. I went knee first into the boards, doing board-to-board skates. So um, it got really swollen. So I went into the hospital, and the orthopedic surgeon says, you know what? I'll put you in a soft cast. You should be good to go in about 4 to 6 weeks. And then come back to me in about 2 years, and we'll operate on it and clean it up. Well, thankfully, Joan was able to put me on a program with calcium and salmon oil and protein, and I was able to, I guess, avoid having any surgery. And I started running distance races, and since that time, I've completed about 14 half marathons.
Wow.
And and
Yeah, that's
still running
absolutely
a bit,
fabulous.
yeah, still running a bit today, but I guess since COVID, I haven't done any races, but looking to get back in, and hopefully with my daughter, we'll probably do a 10K
Woo!
this
That's
fall.
awesome. And would you mind sharing how your age, Winston? Just because still running half marathons at what age?
70.
That's
Wow.
fantastic. That's fantastic. So thank you so much for sharing. And Joan is as a retired nurse, so she was using her knowledge to yeah, use that whole food nutrition and get you back on your feet. That's great. And Heather, yes, I saw a poster the other day about getting ready for curling, which is something that I do as well. And you golf during the summer and you're on that ice. So share your story and how you can still get into the hack.
Sure. Thanks, Shelley. Yes, I'm Heather LaCroix. And when I was in high school, I started playing a lot of different sports. But then I started getting injuries and I dislocated my shoulder several times. And of course, that just wore down the shoulder joint. I eventually had to give up all my sports and I was really unhappy about that. But gradually, I was able to start playing a few more sports. When I was teaching, I was coaching a basketball uh, uh, a team. And during one of the drills, silly, took part in the drill and ended up with a bad accident on my knee, fell and tore cartilage and ligaments. And I was in a full leg cast like for 6 weeks. So that was out. Eventually I healed from that, but different skiing expeditions, I would twist my knee again. It was not reliable. I just fall over if I stood on it wrong. So, finally when I was 45, I was introduced to Neolife and I started on the basic nutrition, that Pro Vitality and the shake. I got a lot of energy back. But even still, for a long time, I couldn't even come close to kneeling down. But then I added extra salmon oil. The full motion came out, and I started taking full motion. And I think it really, really helped. Well, I know it helped because my body was able to heal. And as you can see, that picture's couple of years old, and I still do the sliding delivery and curling. I golf a lot. I'm 72 this year, and I know a lot of people my age. They say, "Oh, well, I can't hit the ball so far. I'm getting a little older and not as strong." But I just won my senior ladies tournament with one of my lowest scores ever, and I played pickleball. Took that up a few years ago. Love it. And so this is really, really important for me to be able to play the sports because it's fun and it's active, but it's also social. And that's a big part of aging well. And I was just asked to speak today at a senior center. The topic was active living for healthy aging. And of course, many people were there looking at tennis, pickleball, curling, even gardening. It's a great activity. And unfortunately, though, our bodies do break down. And if we do not replenish with proper nutrients, and we do need more protein as we age. Now I love the Upbeat and the Elevate. It's not just me that notices the difference, but my personal trainer noticed when I started taking Upbeat because just like you, Shelley, by the end of the workout, saying, "You're not getting tired. You've really got a lot of power." And it feels great to have that power. So I like to say I'm aging powerfully. So, I play a lot of sports, enjoy the active lifestyle, but I really am excited to be able to offer proven solutions to others who want to get back to activities and sports that they might have given up due to physical injury or trauma or simply aging. So thank you very much, and let's all stay active and stay healthy.
Thank you so much, Heather. Yes, you truly are an inspiration with everything that you do.
Thank you.
So back again to the Core 3, the ultimate daily trio for total wellness, your all-in-one health solution for total wellness, weight management, and peak performance with the Shake and the Pro Vitality and the Elevate. This is a month's supply, and you will feel absolutely awesome as you start on, if should you decide to join us on our health journeys and put this Power Pack nutrition into our body.
I just found my new line too from Heather Shelley, aging powerfully. I love it.
Ah, perfect.
I was always saying aging gracefully, but I love aging powerfully. Oh, that's gonna be
That
my
works.
love it, Heather. Thank you. Thank you, Shelley. And some of you are probably wondering, well, how do I get a hold of these amazing products? Well, it's free to become a member of our Neolife Club. As soon as you join, you automatically get a 10% discount. And when you go on a monthly order called NeoShip, so example, the core 3 is a month supply, you get a 20% savings. It doubles your savings. And you also can get your shipping back after 6 months for being a loyal customer. And we even have a referral program. If you refer 3, yours is free. So it's really a great place to start if you're just looking at trying the products. Now, some of you are probably wondering, well, what about the income opportunities? You've heard us talk about some people that are now, building a business. Well, where can you start a business in Canada for as little as $98 or $75 in the US? And that unlocks a 25% savings. Just reach out to the person who invited you and we can guide you in that direction. If that's something that you have questions about, we're here to help and guide you and anything that you want to ask. And, when you become a promoter, staying healthy and active, and you learn how to share health with others and people that you love most. That's one of the things I love the most about becoming a promoter. You belong to a passionate community, making the world a healthier and happier place. When I started sharing with my mom and my family, my sisters and relatives and really good friends, and the stories were coming back, I knew that I was in the right place. And then also enjoying the time freedom of being your own boss, deciding where you want to work, who you want to work with, have the freedom. For me, I really wanted to leave my police career and start a family. So that was what I was really striving for. So if you're thinking, well, I would just like to earn an extra 200 or 500 or 1,000, just ask. Or if you're like me, where I want to replace my police income, this is an income opportunity that you can really build towards a future income. Even Shelley, retired from teaching. Even Winston's husband, Joan, retired early from nursing. So this is something you can really build, for your retirement, if that's what you're striving for. So the benefits of becoming a member: you get a discount. Also, if you're looking at the promoter, you can start generating an awesome part-time income, a little side gig that could eventually build to something greater. So I do want to thank everyone that joined us tonight. It was so nice to have some of you come on live. I really, really appreciate. It's nice to have people see or hear live stories in person. Really appreciate you all. And thank you so much, Shelley, for joining us tonight as well and helping us with this amazing presentation. So I will stop the recording and open it up to any questions that you may have. So thank you all for joining us. Really appreciate you all.